So in case you didn't know, CSVs aren't all that magical. They're just simply comma delimited text files. Okay. And at the very top of our CSV must be the actual field names. So this first line has to be this. Then essentially each other line is a comma delimited list. Now, if editing via a text file is not your cup of tea, there are many other ways to do this. You can use apps such as Excel or Numbers. My preferred method is actually a dedicated CSV editor. So this is an app called Easy CSV Editor. It's super cheap on the App Store. I'm sure there's other apps out there, but essentially this just reads in and saves directly to a CSV. Normally, if you use apps like Excel or Numbers, you have to export. And sometimes I find the export functionality of those apps to be not the best. Okay. So here we have just an easy way that we can maintain this CSV file. It easily makes so we can add in data and so on and so forth. All these settings should look pretty familiar to you based on the actual settings from the stack. So first we have the path. This is our route. Okay. We have our destination. Now, if you want to supply multiple destinations in terms of for A/B testing, you can do a comma delimited list of destinations here. Next is your method. So get or post or delete or put, things of that nature. Your task. Most of the time this is going to be redirect, but you can also use include. Your HTTP code. This is going to be either 301, 302, so on and so forth, right? The default will be 302 if you don't supply anything. Your expiration date. So this is the date stamp that you would like the URL or the route to actually expire. Max hits is if you want that to actually be expired by a certain number of hits. And then you can also do time. So for example, if I wanted this to be 20 times per day, I can do 20 every 1 days. Okay. And then you can also supply an expire URL for that particular route. And so each route could have their own custom expire URL. Now, you can simplify this. So if you only want to supply, let's say, path and destination, and you want the defaults for the rest of these things, you can just delete these. And then you can only have two, and then your CSV file would only have two fields, path and destination. Those are the only two required fields in your CSV file. The rest will send to defaults. So the default method is get. The default task is redirect. The default HTTP code is 302. Expiration is none. Hits is none. Max time is none. Expire URL is none. So if you just want to quickly set up a routes file that will quickly redirect from one path to another URL, you can easily do that with the path and destination fields. So let's look at a live example here. So here I am on my test server. And what you'll notice is I have a file at the very top of my website called routes.csv. Now, in order for this to work, you have to name the CSV file that exact name. It must be named routes.csv. No other names will be allowed. Now, if you're worried about this security of people potentially getting to this file, the htaccess rules that you pasted from traffic control will actually block access to the CSV file from the browser. Let's go ahead and edit this CSV file. So first off, what you should notice is this CSV file, it only has one example in it currently, but it also doesn't have every field. I only have the fields that I think that I will need, and the order of the fields doesn't really matter as well. As long as each row matches the order of the header row, the very first one. So here I'm just supplying my path, my destination, a task, which is redirect, an expiration date. This particular one doesn't have any, so that field's blank. Max hits, and then the expire URL. So this particular route will expire after 10 hits total. So once this route has been hit 10 times, it will have expired.